Hello. Back in April, Anthropic introduced a new product called Claude Design, and I simply have not had a chance to look at it yet. I've just been really busy. But today I've decided to take a bit of a deep dive into Claude Design just to understand exactly what it is, what it can do, and if it's something that maybe I would like to use myself. And there's two reasons for that. One is I'm not a designer, and sometimes for marketing purposes, I want to create things, I want to design stuff. And the other reason is that I'm starting to see some of my customers asking me if I can offer Claude design training on top of the other Claude chat and Claude code training that I do. So I can't answer that question unless I understand what this product is, how it works, what the benefits are, what the limitations are, so that I can make an informed decision about if it's something I'm going to offer as a training package. So let's have a think then. What is this thing? Well, ultimately, it's kind of trying to get in the way of things like Adobe Express and Canva, etc. It's to move that sort of design function into the hands of non-designers, and I think it does an okay job of that. And it does it obviously from within Claude, so it's access to all of your other stuff that you've been doing on the Anthropic ecosystem. So how does it work then? Well, either from Claude Chat or just by going to the URL sort of Claude AI/design, it brings you into the Claude Design workspace. And as you can see, it's pretty standard. It's what you might expect to see. We've got a chat window, a prompt window where we can get on with firing off a new design. It's got the ability to select models. No one knows which one's the best. Well, we do, but so there's that ability. You can add in, other things like attaching files, referencing projects from over in Claude as well. So there's plenty of cool stuff that you can do there. You can also pick from a template. So there's loads of templates in there, which is obviously a standard feature you would expect for a design tool on the web. So that's it. That's kind of basically where you get started. What it's done for me here is, though, as you can see, it's brought in a design system. And what design systems are really is your own personal set of rules and guidelines for it to use when applying its design brain to the given project that you are working on. Now, design systems live down here, and you can see that there's a load of included ones that come with Claude Design, and you can go for your life and use those if you choose to. But of course, what we want to really do is have our own design system, don't we? Most businesses and organizations have one. So how do we set one up? Well, you click on Create a Design System, would you believe? And it takes you into, you guessed it, a conversation with Claude. And it's going to then set you up a design system. So what I did was I just uploaded this brand guideline document, which we can see, has got kind of like everything that you might need for my organization. And then it basically asks you a load of questions, but more importantly, in the background, it just builds out a design system for you. So you can see here that this is a published design system, and in there it references all the things you might expect, like logos and colors. It starts to put together some sort of components and assets that you might need. I'm pretty comfortable with that. It's brought in my branding and font, etc. So I can now use that to go ahead and actually start building designs. And you can tweak this and you can have multiple design systems if you so choose. I like that. Great feature. So what I wanted to do in my kind of testing of this is to figure out like if it could do the kind of thing that I would want to do in a design tool, as a non-designer. And one thing I keep getting asked by people is, have you got a one-pager that I can have that describes your training programs? And the answer is usually go to my website. But I get it. People want a tangible asset. Often people, certainly in larger corporate organizations, might need to take something away, take it to a meeting, a board meeting, circulate it around the organization. And whilst a URL is fine, sometimes a pretty document can be good as well. So I've been meaning to do this for some time, but just haven't got around to it. But I've done it today, and it's probably taken me about an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter to do this, which I don't think is bad to produce something like this, which I think you would agree is a pretty nice looking branded one-pager that talks about the service line that I'm offering to my clients. So we've got my Claude AI training one-pager here that outlines, some overview stuff. It's got some nice assets in it. And then we've just got some text content and some pricing. along with a testimonial at the bottom, and then a little call to action to go get booked at the bottom as well. Now, to produce this, if I just go right up to the top of my chat here, we'll see that my first prompt was really simple because I just wanted to see just how good this was on its own. So I just said, write a document, and then gave it the URL for my Claude AI training page on my website. And guess what? It got on with it. It asked some questions, and then I had to do a few things. Like weird. I don't have, and I said, add the Claude logo. I don't have Anthropic's Claude logo asset. Bit weird. So I had to go and download that from elsewhere and upload it, and then it was able to put that onto the page for me. You knew about the Magnifica logo, so somewhere in here I say stick the Magnifica logo somewhere. And I uploaded a few more assets, a bit of chat back and forth. You can see the reasoning as it goes off and does some work on the page. And ultimately, you get a document at the end, which is really nice. I'm happy with that. As a non-designer, I can stand behind that and say it looks pretty good. That can be sent out to my clients, and it represents what I want to represent. And I don't think it looks too AI-y, if that's a word. So kind of the headline is, I think it's good. I think I'll get better at using it. I think probably because it's AI, its memory and its understanding of my context around design will improve, and maybe then I can do more with it. I'm absolutely going to create 3 more of these for my other platform training programs. So, for ChatGPT, for Microsoft Copilot, for Gemini, and get them all looking the same so that I can then distribute those as and where I want to. Let's have a quick look then at how this works, because this was the chat part, right? This was me saying, go ahead and build this. But what I've not mentioned is that along the way, I did some other stuff as well. And that's really cool. This sits in kind of a canvas, okay? So this is a preview mode. It's in a canvas that is clickable. So you can either click on edit or you just double click on an item. And what it does, it kind of takes you into a little settings panel on the left-hand side. It hides the chat. And it allows you then to make more granular, detailed changes to the design that is produced for you. Now, I don't know how this works on something that's a bit more design heavy, but certainly in this kind of PDF Word document mock that is created, it works really, really well. And this does remind me of something like the WordPress block editor, for example. You click on a block, you get the settings that are related to that block. If I click on an image, then the settings are going to be different, right? And I click on other things around the site, I can see it doing different things. So that's nice. That works really, really well. This is in simple mode. You can then go through to pro mode. Guess what? You just get more settings. Okay, so again, more granular control over the object on the page. So that's nice. It also gives you this, which is really cool. Again, this is a little bit like the outline view in WordPress or any of the other tools. I'm not a Figma user, but I'm pretty sure that I know that Figma does this. Photoshop, etc., all do this in terms of having a design tree, which in this case is a representation really of a website, because this is built on the web. So this is kind of like what you'd call your document object model in the web world. So you've got HTML and you've got CSS and JavaScript all making up that rendered page. And this allows you to see what those things are on the page. And as you click on something, it will highlight it for you. And clearly clicking on that gives you the relevant settings below. So that's really cool. Now, there's a few things that I just struggled with and it frustrated me. But luckily, I do come from although not a design background, from a web development and software background, which has all been HTML, CSS, etc. So I'm able actually to click into the code view. And that then gives me the CSS for the element that I've got selected on the page. So at the object level, I can make some changes. I could say, okay, well, I want the gap on that to be more, right? So I can do those kind of things. You probably can play around with that too. And it works. It does work. I had a couple of niggly bits, a couple of frustrations with it not kind of aligning things properly, and I know about CSS Flex, which is what this design system is built on. But even then, sometimes, I get confused and it's a bit of trial and error. But I found it to be quite usable. Once you've made those changes, you can click save, back to the chat, and you can then converse again in a chat style environment. A few other things quickly, just before I wrap this up, is you've got this ability to comment as well. So you can leave comment, you can mark it up and put comments on there. So that's nice if you're doing reviews with people. You can present it at full screen if that's what you want to do, but you can also share it, okay? So you can publish this as an artifact. And if you don't know about artifacts, they are kind of a thing that sits inside Claude as an asset that you can publish and share. but also that can sit within a similar canvas style environment for doing iterations and changes. So there's quite a little bit of crossover there, but we can push out from Claude Design back over to Claude Standard Web Chat and dump this in as an artifact, which is quite nice. We can also do export as a PDF, which is what I'm going to do. And then there's obviously projected HTML, even export as a PowerPoint. So there's plenty of options there. If I just click on download as a PDF, it's basically just going to render that now as a PDF, and it'll give me the ability within my print preview here to be able to go and download it when it eventually renders. There we go. So there's a document. I just need to tweak some of the styling because it's just gone to 2 pages. That's a little bit of a thing to kind of get your head around. It's kind of down to you. I did ask the chat to make it fit on A4, and it did, but it decided to make it landscape. Don't know why. So, there's things to iron out, but I'm really pleased with this. I've now got a PDF that I can publish on my website. I can send to my clients, and it took me like an hour and 15. It's the first time I've ever used Claude Design. The interface was a bit new. I had to figure out how it all was hooked together. But, now I've got that learning, I could well see producing documents like this only taking, 2 or 3 prompts and maybe 2 or 3 minutes once I've got my design system in place and something like this as a source or an example to help the model go and do kind of what I want it to do. So what I would say is go and have a go. I think it's worth playing around with. I don't know what the token cost is. I don't know if this is something which is going to end up just being baked into the standard chat. I don't know any of those things, but what I do know is that it's been around a little while. I've played with it today. I've quite enjoyed it, and I feel like it's relatively easy to learn how to use, so why not? Okay, that was Claude Design. I hope that was useful. I'll do some more videos about some other stuff at some point.